I'm Preeti here. I have almost 15 years of experience into IT and almost 8 years of experience into DevOps, worked with the various tools, different CI/CD strategies, built the infrastructure from scratch using Terraform, managed multiple Kubernetes clusters, and I'm a professional, certified professional in Kubernetes and Terraform. That's a brief about me. And yeah, also I'm working as a DevOps manager currently at an MNC. So that's a brief about myself. And before we proceed, I have gone through your profiles as much as I can. Whoever have enrolled till yesterday have gone through the profiles, and I could understand that we have people from different backgrounds, different experience levels, and uh, I want to ensure you're all in the safe hands. Like we are going to cover this course with a idea that everyone will be benefited from the course. This course is designed by me with an idea that everyone, even a beginner or fresher or a person from different background or else an experienced person can also benefit equally. Any topic, any concept will be dealt from basics till advanced part, whichever is required so that you can work in the projects and clear your interviews. That is the main agenda, clearing your interviews, working in the project, switching your career. These are the three main goals of this course. That's how it is designed. So, yeah, there are people who are experienced with certain tools, who are already working as DevOps professionals. There are people who are completely coming from a different background, right? Personal care will be taken for everyone as per their requirements, and that's how we deal with. So, let me begin the topic, and I believe you all can hear me. If you have any questions, you can unmute and speak out, or else you can also use the chat box. But please make sure to make the sessions interactive. You can speak out, you can clarify all your queries today. Today, the high level agenda is we'll get a big picture of DevOps. Like what is DevOps, why you should learn DevOps, who are all eligible to learn the DevOps, what are all the roles and responsibilities of DevOps engineer on high level, and what is a delivery pipeline like CI/CD. Like you might have heard about CI/CD pipeline a lot. So you'll get an idea of it and what are all the tools and skills you should learn. Right? This is the agenda or a big picture of today's class. Today it would be theoretical and overview, a high level picture of what all or how you will benefit from the course, right? And from tomorrow onwards, the actual topics begin and it would be complete hands-on beginning from day one, that's tomorrow. So let's get started with this agenda. So we are going to learn DevOps completely here. So first of all, let's concentrate on what is DevOps, why you should learn DevOps and all. So I'm sharing a blackboard. Can you all see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. All right. So let us try to understand what is DevOps. Like I said, yes, some of you might be aware of it. You might be working in it. Some of you might be new to this. So let me talk about what DevOps is basically. To understand these terms, you can understand the two teams first, dev team and ops team. Any application you are using in the real world, let's say some application you are using in the real world, like Amazon online shopping application or some social networking sites like Facebook, Insta, or whatever, an online banking application. Any application you are using today means it has gone through many process. It has gone through a lot of process at the back end. And also there will be multiple teams involved, like a dev team, QA team, ops team. So many are there. And I'm highlighting these three teams today, dev team, QA team, and ops team. So who are these teams? Like what is a development team? What do they do? Like we all know they write the code. You may call them as developers or programmers, right? The main objective is they write the code, right? They write the code, they design the application, they build the application, they look after the client expectation, whether they were meeting the client's expectation or not. These are the main target or the main task of dev team. QA team is they will Quality assurance team, they will test the application. Once the code is ready, they will test the application using, again, there are different types of testing, levels of testing. I'm not going to talk about this, but just understand they will test the application. And once the application is defect free, it's ready, they would hand it over to ops team for deploy, right? And who is ops team or operations team? Generally admins, network technicians, right? DBA are the people who are involved here. And the major task of them would be they will be taking care of the servers, services running on those servers, access, logins, all of that would be taken care by this ops team, right? And in general, yes, one task is developers would hand over their application, means once they are done with the building and the development and building, they would hand it over to testers. Testers would test this, and for end users to use the application, it should be deployed on some servers, which would be done by ops teams. They'll hand over it to ops teams. Right? This is the major task. And the other thing would be whatever infra they need during this process of development or testing. Let's say development team needs some new operating system or a new server, or else they need some new services. If they need any changes to the infra, they would request the ops teams, right? They would not self-serve. They are expected, they are supposed to request the ops team. Ops team should serve the request. But before ops team provide them with the required infra and provide with the necessary changes, they might be going through a lot of changes. I mean, they might be going through a lot of process, like they would check whether this change is going to make the infra stable, or is this change going to bring some servers down, or any servers going to be, any service going to be disconnected, or any network are going to be failed. So they would do a lot of checks before they serve their request, right? Meanwhile, developers and QA team, I'm including both of them together. Let's say development team and QA team are still waiting for the changes they need, right? They are still waiting. Meanwhile, ops teams are doing a lot of checks. It's like taking a lot of time, right? But dev team or QA team are waiting for the changes they need. And if you notice here, each team has got their own areas of expertise. Their core skills, core competencies are different, meaning developers are great with some programming language. They might be good with database, or they might be good with some frameworks, right? And QA team, they will be good with their testing tools, test automation, and so on. Ops teams will be having a different skill set, right? So their skill set, their core competencies are different, but still they are working in the same process, means they're working for building the same application and they were going through certain process. So because their core competencies are different, their skill set is different, development team or QA team cannot understand why ops team is doing all these checks and why they are taking a lot of time to serve their request. Meanwhile, ops team is doing all these checks, and even they are not sure why dev team or QA team are requesting all these changes, which may bring the environment down or which may break the environment, right? Because ops teams always look for, or else it's their responsibility to make sure infrastructure is stable, whereas dev team and QA team will be looking after the agility or changes in the infrastructure, correct? So their core competencies are different. They don't understand each other challenges. They don't understand challenges, requirements of other teams, and there arises some gap between these teams. I'm clubbing this dev team and QA team together for some time. Let's say these are together and I'm calling them as dev team. So there is a gap between dev team and ops team. Of course, there's a gap between dev and QA as well. So there is a gap between these teams. So that's a first challenge. How to overcome this gap between them? How can we make them collaborate better? How can we make them work together with a proper understanding, understanding the challenges of others? How can we bring these two teams, of course, these three teams together? Any solution, any thoughts from your end, or if you are already having some idea, can you share your inputs?
Yes, ma'am.
So what do you think? How can we eliminate the gap?
Ma'am, we can continuous deployment on the servers with latest code.
Okay, Sai Charan says, I have a message in the chat. The Sai Charan says, increase collaboration. So, yeah, the first problem is how to overcome this gap, how to make these teams collaborate, right? How to overcome this gap. So, I'm talking about, by now you might have understood, I'm talking about why DevOps came. Right, the first reason is to eliminate the gap, to bring these teams work together, to collaborate them better. That's why DevOps came in. The first reason is to eliminate the gap between the teams. Is that the only reason why DevOps came in, just to eliminate the gap and make them work with collaboration? There are many other reasons. The second reason is, like I'm talking about some time back, developers will write the code, will build the application, they will hand it over to testing team. So this process keep on continuing. Developers will hand over the code here. Testers will test it. If any bugs, if testers identify the bugs, whom will they report? Who should fix those bugs?
Developers.
Developers. So this process keep on continuing till the application is defect free, right? Let's suppose the application is defect free. It should reach the end users. How it will reach the end users? They will hand over this application to ops team, right? So that they would deploy on some server so that end users can see it. So the application would be handed over to the ops team, and along with this application, this development team, here development team, I mean dev and QA, they will also hand over some instruction document to the ops teams. I'll talk about it. So just first understand, they'll hand over the application, the instruction document to ops team. Ops team will follow this instruction document and deploy it on some deploy servers. Right? Means what is meant by deployment? We will do this hands-on completely. Just understand. They will, let's say they'll run the application. They'll configure the application on these servers. So when they are configuring, let's suppose it's a Java application. For example, I'm saying it could be anything. For this, you don't need to learn Java, okay? It could be application developed in any language. So whenever they are deploying it, they should check first of all which version of Java is compatible, which version of OS they should use, which version of dependencies and libraries, what other libraries or dependencies should be installed, right? So they would do all these checks before they deploy. And suppose this instruction document says Java 11, right? Sometimes those instructions may not be working because those instructions might be targeting only Windows servers. They might have to deploy it on Linux servers, so the commands vary. Also, the commands given in the instruction document, all of them may not be working in reality when they execute them. And the instructions may not be clear, may not be understood by ops teams, because again, for the same reason, the skill set of developers is different from the skill set of ops. So their perspective may be different. Their idea of how the instruction document is prepared might be different. And by the time they use them, they may not be working. They might be working on certain environments, but not be on others. So ops teams have to troubleshoot, have to figure out all of these issues, and finally they have to see that application is running, right? Which would take some couple of months. Maybe this application is handed over on maybe on April. It might be deployed on maybe August. It may take some months to do this so that end users can see the application. And even though it's okay, it's running, they should check the application is highly available. If something is broken, ops team should be there to fix it and see the application is available for end users without any downtime or without any interruptions. Am I correct? Following everyone. So what is happening here? Development or testing are going on hand in hand parallelly, but deployment is taking time. Deployment is slow. End users are seeing the application at a slow rate, slow in deployment. So, okay, I'm writing about the problems, right? Okay. Slow deployments, right? So now how to avoid this, how to increase the velocity of the deployments, how to accelerate the speed of the deployments means Like whenever an application is developed, end users should see the features immediately. It's not that it takes some months for this. So how to overcome this problem, right? That's a one thing. And another thing is like there were different teams and there are different skill set. And if you want to automate the process, how can we automate this complete process? So, this complete process can be automated with all these challenges, the challenges of overcoming the challenges of like the application reaching the end users in time. Have you ever wondered if you see some Amazon or HDFC Bank or any online application, you will be seeing some features overnight, depending on the existing situation or any natural calamities. Let me give an example. We have a COVID some couple of years back, right? We had some natural disasters where the entire world went into a breakdown or went into like unavailability, right? So many features or a lot of things were down in that case. So we can see whenever there is some pandemic arises as such like COVID, right? We got some new features seen in the Amazon website immediately the next day. Maybe let's say in our area, some pandemic situation, we found some people who are affected. So immediately you will see a notification saying that deliveries are blocked for this a particular region, right? Some kind of notifications or some kind of changes you would see overnight depending on what happened today. By the end of the day, you might be seeing it or in couple of hours. So how is that possible? How could be deployment so faster? How could be features deployed so faster to end users? This is again the reason where DevOps is coming in, right? Almost all the gigantic companies are following this DevOps approach. Now, at the current trend, almost all the gigantic companies are already implementing it. And mid-sized companies, small-scale companies are also stepping into it. In couple of years, like by 2026, everyone will be stepping into their DevOps because of these things where you could accelerate the deployments. Means, let's say a feature is developed today by developers. Immediately after testing and deploying into lower environments and then higher environments, immediately it would be available for end users. That's how deployments were faster. The complete process from the desk of a developer is ready with the code, right? It would immediately hit the production servers. Of course, complete automation by hitting the lower environments. First, it would hit the lower environments, tested, and then hit the production environments in sub hours, right? That faster deployments were which are possible through DevOps. So it accelerates the speed of deployment. And for this, definitely automation is required. You need to automate the manual process. Till now, the process manual, which should be automated. Okay, I'm talking about problems. So let me say manual process. How to overcome the gap, how to increase the velocity of deployments, how to overcome the manual process and introduce this process of DevOps. That's where automation comes in, right? And also not only that, like there were so many challenges faced with the traditional methodologies, right? Traditional software methodologies. So even to overcome those challenges, we'll see what are those challenges. That's where DevOps came in, right? So yeah, by couple of years, everyone will be implementing DevOps. So it's a right time to invest your time, effort, and learn such tools. The strongest in this automation process will survive in the market in coming years. And not only DevOps people, means even though you are a developer, let's say you still want to remain a developer, you like the development or whatever role you like it, but still you need to learn this process because you are involved in this methodology. So everyone should know this. I'll come to that part in more detail in some time. But is this much clear? The challenges or the drawbacks or which led to DevOps is clear. Am I clear till this much?
Yes.
Any questions from anyone here?
No, ma'am.
Thank you, Charan, for confirming. A quick confirmation will help me. If any questions, let me know. So we understood why DevOps came in. Now, let us understand what is DevOps, how DevOps can overcome these challenges. But before that, let me talk about what are the drawbacks with the traditional SDLC, waterfall methodology. SDLC is software development lifecycle. Anyone is new here, this will help them. This is nothing but which involves sequence of activities like first requirement gathering, requirement analysis, design, coding, testing, delivery and maintenance. These are the different phases an application will go through, and here everything will go in a sequence, one after the other. Like only after gathering it would be analysis, then design, coding, and so on. By now you might have understood, yes, I'm talking about waterfall methodology, which served the industry for decades. But it has got lot many challenges, both the dev team and QA team faced. Can you, sorry, both dev team and ops team faced. So what are the challenges? Can anyone help me with the challenges faced by dev team? This
Deployment
methodology, yes, please, go ahead.
deployment challenges will be there. Like for the new feature, at the time two features are like in pipeline to deploy, but one is still in progress, other is still it's already developed. So the until the second one got completed, they have to wait. So these things are not there in SDLC with the waterfall model. But in Agile, we have a sprint, so we can we can deploy that very fast.
Yeah, actually, this is a slow methodology. Slow methodology, meaning only after development testing would begin. Meanwhile, developers have to work on, meanwhile, the code where goes for testing, developers have to work on the new code, but then testing begins. When testing begins, developers have to keep their new code as well as they have to fix the bugs in the old code. And because testing is happening at a later time, it takes some time, it gives a lot of pressure to developers, and testing happening at later stages would be costly. Also, if client comes with new requirements, they can't handle it. It's not flexible. It just goes in one direction. They can't make modifications or changes. Like requirements will be freeze. Let's say you got requirements in 2022. No other modifications would be accepted and it would be delivered all at 2024. Like complete software will be delivered all at once. If you don't accept any modifications, any new requirements, and if you deliver the product which you got requirements in 2022, client doesn't need it because it's a customer facing world. Business changes rapidly. It doesn't work. You have to accept modifications. Nowadays, all the clients keep on coming with new modifications requirements. If you don't take up that and if you don't go back, like if you are in coding, there is no going back, or any phase, there is no going back. That's why it's called waterfall. It just goes in one direction. It doesn't work in reality, right? Even ops team face the challenges because of this methodology, because the model is slow and it takes some time. They have to maintain servers up and running for longer duration, which is a challenge manually doing it. Also, poor configuration management. Configuration management is a separate concept. We will learn it in detail. Let me tell you, it's nothing but having detailed history of what is happening on which server at what time. You don't have control on it because you're doing it manually. If something goes wrong, you don't know which server is affected, what happened to what server. So poor configuration management, poor maintenance, poor configuration management, and also monitoring is also manual, right? If there are small infrastructure, 4 or 5 servers, you can monitor manually, but huge infrastructure, this is not possible, right? These are the challenges you have with waterfall methodology. To overcome this, actually, agile methodology came in. But agile is successful to overcome the challenges of dev team, but not the challenges of ops. So we need another methodology. That's where DevOps came in, which can overcome challenges of both the dev team and ops team. Right? That's what it can overcome challenges posed by traditional methodologies. But in this process, let me give you an overview of Agile as well, how Agile is able to overcome challenges of dev team. Here, the idea is not to learn SDLC or Agile, but DevOps methodology. DevOps is also another methodology. So to understand this, let me give you how Agile can overcome challenges of dev team. Agile follows continuous development and continuous integration, wherein it could overcome the challenges of dev team to certain extent. Also, code is always stable and available for release. And code would be delivered in alternate days, every 15 days or every week. Code is delivered every alternate week or every week. It's not that complete software is delivered all at after 2 years. No, every week, every alternative week, it would be delivered. There will be feedback taken. So it's a flexible. Hence overcomes the challenges of dev team. In detail, we will be having continuous integration, continuous delivery concepts. Here, let me give you an overview. How continuous delivery and continuous integration happens. Here in Agile, code will be developed in bits and chunks. Means let's say on week 1, a chunk of code A is developed. Okay, on week 2, immediately it would be going for testing. Right? Meanwhile, on week 2, developers are not sitting idle. They will develop another chunk of code B. On week 3, again this B will be tested. Not only that, this B will be combined with existing system or A and then it will be tested. This is called continuous integration. Like any new changes will be merged into the system and tested. Then only it's a complete product, right? So if you notice here, every week, development and testing are happening parallelly, iteratively, or continuously, whatever you call it, right? So every week, both testing and development are happening. So if you talk about this, like development and testing are happening parallelly, right? They are working together hand in hand. That's why I'm talking about development team, testing team are brought together with this Agile, and you can call them as dev team, but still ops team is left in isolation. But whatever it is, Agile is able to overcome these challenges to certain extent, but challenges for ops team are still there. That's how Agile methodology helps. But it failed to overcome the challenges of ops team. Am I clear? Any questions in this part?
Not really.
Ma'am.
Thank you. Thanks for confirming. So these are the reasons why DevOps.
Sorry, what is the challenge of DevOps here in Agile? Sorry.
These challenges, right? Software methodology posed these challenges for ops teams, right? It couldn't maintain the servers for longer duration, poor configuration management, no proper monitoring. These are the challenges ops teams have. Agile couldn't overcome this because in Agile, this process like development testing are happening parallelly, but again, deployment is manual. They would deploy to the deployment servers manually. So that process is still manual where these challenges are still there. Got it?
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, got it.
So there came DevOps into picture with the idea of overcoming all these challenges. So let's see how DevOps could successfully overcome all these challenges, like how it could eliminate the gap between the teams. It could eliminate the gap between the teams because they are working in collaboration. Means what is DevOps? Let's talk about now. What is DevOps? So DevOps is a methodology. It's a process wherein continuous development, continuous testing, continuous integration, continuous deployment. The word continuous is important, and then continuous one. This is what is DevOps. Right? It means whenever a new change is developed, it will hit the production service automatically without manual intervention. Means, of course, it will hit the lower environments than production environment without any manual intervention. That is what is DevOps. Means whenever developer is ready with the code, right? It's a role of a DevOps engineer to automate the entire process and it would hit the production service. This process of automation is where a DevOps person comes in. If you learn this process of automation from developer table to production table, if you know this process of automation, you are a DevOps person. Right? Let's say you might be having queries. Okay, I'm a developer for 15 years. Can I switch to this? Yes, definitely. And let's say another question. Let's say I'm an ops person. I'm a middleware person. I'm a DB. I'm network admin. I have worked in so and so roles. Can I become a DevOps? If you know this process of automation, yes, you can. Do you need coding for this? No, you don't write the code. Development team is still there. Do you see here? Development team is still there. Even QA team will be there. I included QA also in development. So I'm saying developers. So QA team is also still there. Who will write the test cases? So DevOps person should know the process of automation, because I will get this question in every batch always. People saying that, should I know coding? Because working in collaboration doesn't mean that tester will go and write the code, or else DevOps person will go and write the code. There is still development team who will write the code. Anyone who works in this process of automation of taking the code, and once testers are ready with the test cases, making that execution automated until it goes to production table, is a DevOps person. Let's say you are a developer till now. If you want to become a DevOps person, you will be working in this part, not in the development part. Right? If you are switching your career, you'll be working in this process of automation, not in any other areas. For this, you don't need coding. You don't need to be a tester to do this. It's a collaboration, means you communicate better, you communicate regularly so that you understand the challenges for this. That's how collaboration comes in, that which eliminates the gap. Now, developers, testers, DevOps, we work with a lot of communication. There is always a need of communication. We should interact more. We should communicate more, because today they wrote the code, immediately within an hour, it will be going through this automation process. So if any challenges arises, or if they have any instructions to be given, they work very closely together. This process of automation is nothing but CICD, which happens multiple times in a day. Multiple times in a day means whenever developer write the code, any code change, every code change. If you are into technically about this, every commit. Okay, what is commit and all we'll learn. So every commit developers make will go through the process, means this CICD happens multiple times in a day. So they have to work with a proper collaboration, with a proper communication, right? Also, DevOps team is using automation tools to automate the entire process. So their skill set, they are going to have common skill set now. Like I told you, right? Earlier, developers hand over the application to QA team will test it and hand it over to ops team. But earlier, in the traditional methodology, they used to hand over the application directly. Let's say if you are talking about Java, a jar file or a var file or whatever, the artifact, the output. If you don't know what is artifact, just understand output. The output will be shared to the ops teams, right? The output will be shared directly, and they'll share some instruction document. But now with DevOps, the way they hand over the application also changed. Means they'll be handing over the application and the containerized format. We will learn all these concepts separately, so just ignore it. These are all DevOps concepts. So just let me talk about, they will be sharing it in the containerized format as a Docker image. What is that and all we'll learn. I'm just giving you a heads up. So you will be sharing it in a containerized format. So if you share it in the containerized format, ops teams or DevOps team need not worry about your instruction document, install the tool separately. No, that problem is overcome. Means the way of development, the approach of how you share your application change. So even though you are not a DevOps person, you are a developer, still you need to know how you are going to hand over the application in DevOps methodology, the modern approach. Am I making sense for all of you? Is this part clear? So why everyone should learn this DevOps, not only DevOps people? Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
I appreciate
Yes.
your quick responses. If it is clear, do let me know so that I could proceed. Or if you have any confusions, questions, you can feel free to put them.
No, ma'am, clear.
Right? So the way of development, the approach, it's not that development change, you should learn development separately. No, the way you hand over your application, the process got changed, which led to DevOps. how exactly they were handing over it, how they were containerizing it. We are having separate dedicated chapters for them. We'll be learning them in detail. This is just giving you a heads up. So yes, if you learn this process, now DevOps team need not look at that instruction document, install it, configure it for 6 months. Immediately, with this containerized approach, whenever they share it, immediately, within minutes, it could be deployed. So ops teams, I mean, now it's a DevOps team who know how to receive this a new way of containerized artifacts. So that's what we'll be learning in this automation process. So yes, slow deployment is overcome, gap is eliminated, no manual effort, complete process will be eliminated. Initially, to design the CI/CD, you may need more people, like 6 DevOps people or 7 people. But once CI/CD is built, you just need 1 or 2 to monitor the pipeline. Of course, these DevOps people will be switched to other tasks of creating the infra, managing the infra. I'm talking about from the perspective of CI/CD. But still, the strongest with these skills will survive in the market, because the market will be going ahead. It is progressing towards the process of automation where the entire process will be automated. But to automate it, you need to have the skill set. So that is what is DevOps. And if you ask me to compare this with all the methodologies, let's say, if you want me to compare this DevOps with all the methodologies in a one line or in a one statement, this is how I could make the difference. I could differentiate. Like if you take an ESDLC, Agile, and DevOps. Okay, DevOps is a methodology. Don't think that it's a tool, it's a software, it's a program, it's a methodology. Okay, in SDLC, you have testing. After testing only, sorry, coding after testing on, I'm sorry, coding after coding or development only testing begins. After testing only, it proceeds with the deployment and then monitoring. Right, each happening one after the other. But here, with the every week development testing happening, it's continuous development, continuous testing, continuous integration. Right, but again, deployment is manual, and after all this integration, deployment would happen and then monitoring. Okay, but then DevOps came in where you have continuous development, continuous testing, continuous integration, continuous deployment, and continuous monitoring. Even these things were automated. For every change developer make, it will go through this process, and you will see the features and users receiving them in a minutes. Right? This is the difference. Also, if you want me to differentiate with respect to the teams, dev team, QA team, ops team in SDLC, they were working in silos, in separation as a separate team. Right? No understanding what is the process. They work as a separate team. They don't understand each other's challenges. But in Agile, because development and testing are happening parallelly, continuously, these two teams were brought together. Okay, as dev team. We are calling them as dev team, but still ops team is left in isolation in silos. Then DevOps, because of this continuous process and the common way of sharing the applications and the way of development, deployment change, these two were brought together, which is called as DevOps. Of course, here QA is also involved. Got it now? What is DevOps? We understood why DevOps came in, what is DevOps, then we should learn how to build this or how this DevOps works. That's what we'll be looking into from tomorrow. It takes some months to understand this DevOps. Like we'll be getting started with this from tomorrow with the hands-on. We'll be going into each part and we'll learn this completely. That's the agenda from tomorrow. And whatever we have learned, discussed till now is documented in this presentation, which will be shared with you for your reference like a notes. All the waterfall methodology, the drawbacks, agile methodology, drawbacks, what is DevOps. See the differences like I have shown you, waterfall, agile. Agile with continuous deployment is nothing but DevOps. So all of this will be available. And then roles and responsibilities of DevOps person. your role and responsibility will be working in any of this process of automation. At any point, you might be working in the CI/CD pipelines or building the infra, managing the infra, right? Managing Kubernetes cluster. All of these comes under the roles and responsibilities of DevOps person. Once we get started with those use cases and scenarios, we'll be diving deep into those topics, right? Hope you got some idea of what DevOps person does. And let's talk about the skill set. Yes, these are all the tools we'll be learning here. Okay, Git, a version control system Git, a build automation tool Maven, continuous integration tool Jenkins, containerization tool Docker, infrastructure creation and provisioning tools, managing and provisioning tools like Ansible, Terraform, container orchestrators, Kubernetes, Docker Swarm, monitoring tools, Prometheus, Grafana, and the cloud computing services like AWS. All of these will be covered. Right? All of this.
All these tools are open source, or we have to pay for those.
Can you come again, please? Couldn't hear you.
All the tools here are open source, or we have to pay for.
Yes, all of these are open source. And you might have heard about many tools, right? Like version control systems. When we talk about version control system, there is a Git, there is a Git, TFS, right? SVN, and so on. So you need not learn all these tools. Under each category, there were many tools. Master or expertise one tool under each category, that is good. Because all these tools work with a similar analogy, similar concepts. If you master one tool in the category, that is enough. Even cloud computing, AWS, we were talking about, will be implemented. See, here the main agenda is learning DevOps on any platform. That's how we learn it, so that you could implement it on any platform like on-prem or on-cloud. As an example for cloud, we are going for AWS services, right? Also, it's not expected that you should be learning all the cloud. If you know one cloud, again, switching or executing it on other cloud would be similar. That's what companies are looking into. When we sit in the interview panel, that's what we look at. If a person is working on any particular cloud, it's good to go, because that's what we need, because every day a new cloud is emerging, right? Lot many new technologies, particularly in DevOps, this tool stack keep on changing. New tools are emerging in the market, new clouds are coming. So the candidate should be flexible enough to explore and switch on to the new tools and technologies. That's what companies are expecting. So if you know certain tools, means one tool under each category, that is good to go.
Yeah, hey, madam, here, what are the services included for AWS services?
I'll give a walkthrough over that. Okay, give me a few minutes. I'll walk you through that. So these are the tools.
Ma'am,
Yes.
excuse me, one query here, ma'am.
Mm.
Actually, these tools which you have explained, like means in the actual environment, like in a DevOps role, like as a DevOps engineer or as a DevOps consultant, like we need to just means what you call maintain only we need to work on these tools only. We don't have to understand the development part and operation part, like.
No, you don't need to understand development. Okay, there will be a separate development team. Operations part, there is a limit on what a DevOps person does. Okay, there will be no ops team when you talk about DevOps in some projects. Some projects, there might be a team, separate team as well to configure the infrastructure on a on-prem kind of. So, but in general, or else in short, answer is no, you don't need to know them.
Okay, just we need to means what you call work with these tools only. That is the work of a DevOps engineer or consultant, right?
See, it's not work with these tools or work with, because like I'm saying, right, there might be other tools coming in and all, but you need to understand, you will be working on the process of automation. Once developer is ready with the code, testers are ready with the test cases, how you would automate them to reach lower environments and then reach the production server successfully. That's what is your role. It could be any tools, it could be anything. Here, yeah, these are the tools in general. Yes.
Okay, and the main part agenda is like to automate the entire means what you call that from development to
Entire
operation, like.
process. Yes.
Okay, okay. got the point now. Yeah, thank you.
So these are the tools and
Hello.
for these, okay, any question, any other question?
Yeah, Preeti, this is funny. You showed this phases in DevOps like Git, Maven. This is the order we need to follow in the learning, or else we can go wherever.
We'll follow a separate order, okay, which
Okay,
is designed so that you will understand the flow and you could implement it, right? We'll
okay.
go with the flow. I'll also show you the flow, what I'll be going through.
And coming to the Jenkins, whether we need to know the coding part, I mean, as a learner, we know the coding part also in the pipeline. I mean, we're going to implement the pipeline in the CICD. Is there any that kind of learning also in the coding?
That is there, but that's not called as coding. It's called pipeline as a code where we have templates and scripts which we'll use. That will not be called as coding.
Okay.
Create our pipeline with the pipeline as a code concept. But
Okay.
that's not coding like developers does. Anyone can do that coding. I'll help you with that. But
Oh.
so we shouldn't call that as coding.
Okay. Thank you.
So these are the tools, and for these tools, certain tools, we definitely need Linux environment. Okay, we'll be learning Linux as well. If anyone new to it, you don't need to worry. We'll be going from the basics. Like any other environment, like you are using Windows, Linux is another environment, another platform, which we'll be covering from the basics, whichever needed. So even that will be a part of the course.
Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
come
Can we
to,
also
I am having some queries in the chat window. I'll come to them in few minutes. Yes.
learn networking?
Networking basics we will do, but you don't need to learn networking. Okay, there'll be separate networking team for that. You don't need to learn networking.
Some basic networking for DevOps.
Huh?
We need some basic networking for DevOps.
Oh no, networking is not a part of DevOps. You don't need to know it. Basics in the sense when we are learning Linux basics, we'll come through some Linux concepts or networking basics. That's it. It's not mandatory a DevOps person should know networking. That's a separate subject.
Okay.
Uh,
Ma'am,
one more
currently,
question. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah. So
Mm.
you said like end-to-end automation, right? Only if QA team does in-sprint automation, then this CI/CD pipeline would work, right?
Yeah.
Preeti?
Yes.
Yeah.
okay, currently we have Python coming in as a part of DevOps culture. So what is the use of Python in building the CI/CD?
Okay. Okay. Any other question? Is that the only question?
One more question is like,
I'll
how is
take
the
one second, Pradeep. Rahul, I'll answer your question. I've noted your question. So any more questions?
No, I mean nothing. No, nothing more from me as of now.
Sure.
Sonar,
I'll answer your
yeah,
question. Now.
yeah, Sonar Cube is included here in this.
Sonar is not included.
Okay.
See, these are all Sonar or code coverage tools, code analysis tools, code review tools. These are all developer tools actually. Okay. They will configure them or do those things via build automation tool like Maven. Means it is a big story to tell here. In Maven, you'll have different plugins which does code review, code analysis, code coverage and all. So which plugins to be used, which tasks they will execute, though that's a developer call. Actually, this Maven is a developer tool. So they'll configure them as a plugins via Maven POM file and they will be executed as different phases in this pipeline. So we'll not cover Sonar in particular, but how any stage can be done, how they can be integrated via Maven, that part we'll be covering. So that it's not Sonar, there are hundreds of tools for code coverage and analysis. So if you have an idea of one, you'll get to know like how you can execute it for any other. That exposure you'll get here.
Yeah, those will be configured in CI/CD pipeline script, right? So in different stages.
By developers via build automation tool. Those will be configured via Maven as a build automation tool. This build automation tool build file will be given by developers. So you have nothing to configure them. Once they have configured it through Maven, you will automate that in the pipeline.
Okay. with the difference.
Long story short, like testers are giving you test case, you are automating their execution, right? Similarly, those configurations will be done in the POM file and developers will share you that POM file or whatever, the build file, and you will automate that in the pipe. So that's what I can tell you at this point. We'll deep dive into them once we step into those topics.
Okay.
And any security testing related integration for DevOps?
See, here in the CICD part, generally unit testing is the one which will be automated. Other types of testing, regression, it could be regression testing, it could be functional testing, database testing, whatnot, lot of testing that would be taken again care by testers. A separate QA team is there, right? They'll be looking into it. Whatever test case is given to you, you need to execute them in this pipeline. Generally, unit test case will be executed in the pipeline. Others will be done by testers from their end.
Okay. Okay.
So before I would like to walk through this part and then I'll take up some questions which I kept on hold. Okay, so give me a few minutes. So with these tools, this is the CI/CD pipeline I'm talking about from the beginning. See here, developers are writing the code, placing the code in version control system. From then, it will start continuous builds, continuous testing, continuous deployment, continuous monitoring, right? If you see here, whenever developer write the code, it is pulled by Jenkins and uses some Maven or Ryant or some build automation tool build it, execute some test cases written by testers, deploy it means containerize it, deploy it on Kubernetes, automate the infrastructure with Ansible, Terraform, monitor it and send the feedback. This is the simple CI/CD pipeline. But we will be zooming into each section. Like first some of you are asking about the order, right? First we'll be starting with Git, where we'll be zooming into each section. The same way we'll follow for every tool. We'll zooming into this Git in detail, okay? We will learn from basics till advanced, master it. Then we will concentrate on Jenkins, then Maven. This is how we proceed. And we build this pipeline step by step. First learn Git, then start the pipeline here. Then learn Jenkins, add Jenkins. Then keep it on hold. Then learn how to execute test case, then add this test. Like this pipeline will be built step by step in our course. It will take some months, like 2 months to build this pipeline. We'll be building this CI/CD pipeline on 2 applications in this course. Like one is a monolithic, another one is microservice application. What is microservice architecture and all we'll learn, wherein we'll implement this pipeline on 2 projects will be covered by the end of this course. So you know the order. This is how we'll proceed. First we'll learn Git, then we will learn the Jenkins and Maven, and then the Docker, and that's how we proceed. Means it's not just learning the tool and progressing. Learn the tool, come back and add it to the pipeline. Right? Again, okay, we learn Docker, then go and learn Kubernetes, come back and add that stage in the pipeline. So it's not just learning the tool and the concepts, we'll apply them, implement them with the real use cases so that you would see the complete end-to-end pipeline, which could help you clear your interviews or work in your projects with a more confidence. That's the main agenda. Whatever use cases we are covering here are designed with my experience on what I have used in my projects, so that you will well benefit from this. Okay, I think this answered the question like how the order is. And another question from Rahul. Rahul has a question like, you are seeing Python. Python automation comes in certain areas where you may have to automate it for some reasons. Maybe, see, it's also developer's role to decide which tool to use. It's not just you have so many DevOps tools, use all the tools. You just integrate all the tools, that's DevOps. You should be wise enough to choose which tool to use at what part, which part of automation, which tool to be used. That you will acquire through experience and expertise. Right? Certain parts in certain areas there, you may not need a tool. You may go for some scripts like Python or shell scripting to automate it. But it's not that it's mandatory Python script should be used in DevOps. Okay, but there are areas where they may go for Python scripts instead of using a tool, or else on top of the tool, something maybe like maybe you have some routine jobs, or where you may go for Python automation, Python scripts. But again, I'm repeating, it's not mandatory that a DevOps person should know Python or use it. Again, you might be having a question in job descriptions, you see Python. It's a good to have tool. Okay, it's good to have. Python, shell scripting are good to have. But if some JDs, some job description are demanding Python and shell scripting as a mandatory tool, as an important, or that's the main focus, means it's not for you. Means it's not that all the JD suits you. Okay, you choose what you want to become. Do you want to work with these tools and automate the DevOps process, or are you looking into automating or working in DevOps with a Python automation? If that is your call, if that is your interest, you should learn Python or shell scripting. That should be a separate course again. Learning Python in depth can take 6 months to 1 year or so also. So if you want to go for that role, you have to choose that course. But if you want to, your main focus is on the DevOps tools. If you want to use these tools and implement your CICD, then concentrate on this. Don't go for a Python. Python, if it's good to have, just the basics overview is fine. If some projects are demanding in-depth of Python or shell scripting, then it's not for you. If you want to go for it, you should take up a separate course. So don't club both of them. You decide what you want to become and go according. Not that all the 100 JDs, wherever you see DevOps suits you. You should read the job description. You should understand. If someone is looking for an in-depth of Python automation, they were only focusing on that. That's not a DevOps role. So you choose. Maybe the projects might be a legacy project coming from previous experience, or the resources who are there might be looking for the Python resource or Python requirement, then that's not for you. So you should understand the JD and look for it. You can't step onto both of them. Both are two different streams or different areas. Hope I answered your question, Rahul. Pradeep, the same is applicable for shell
Okay.
scripting as well. Right? And there is another question from Sriharsh. At the end of the course, will you provide some projects to put in the resume according to experience we are putting? Sriharsh, we don't provide you the projects to put in the course. Like, see, to get a project, if I have to get a project, you know the process. If you are into IT, it's not that someone gets a real project. If someone says that you're working on real project, that's not correct. Then how come you say these are real scenarios are real? But project is not real. You get the difference? You see in every poster, every hoarding saying that, okay, real projects are covered. If I get a real project, I would start a company. If I can get a real project, I would also start some software company, right? Real project here, I want to make it very clear. Real scenarios will be covered. I'll take up some microservice application where there'll be some 2 microservices or 3 microservices, and I'll show you real use case, how you have to execute. Project is different, but you will get exposure to those real scenarios. Environment may be different, but the concept, but your understanding, how you focus on it, how you implement it was also same. Environment differs, the project differs. Hope you got the point. So don't just go with the words, or someone is providing real project. No one can provide the real project. Real scenarios we can provide. That's what I do. Okay. And another question is, hope you got the difference. So you can't put them in your resume, but what you can do is, let's say you have you are having some 3 years or 5 years as a developer experience. You have worked on so and so XYZ project. In that project, whatever you have done manually, you could explain them with respect to DevOps tools, how you have done in your project. So you could claim like, these are the things you have used instead of, like, whatever you have done manually, you will relate with these DevOps tools. You will include these DevOps scenarios in the same project you have worked on. That's how you have to relate, or you have to claim your experience. That part we'll explain here in this course. You'll have a separate resume help where we have a team to help you with that.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Thank
Now
you.
you should. Okay, but projects anyone cannot give you the project.
Yeah, thank you.
And my question is, pipeline is programming skill also involved? I think funny I answered this question. And there is a few questions like part of syllabus. Yes, Sriharsh, the syllabus changes. I'll talk about that. And another question is, kind of challenges do you do as a fresher? See, as a fresher, okay, if you know these tools, having basic knowledge is also a great thing for a for a fresher. As a fresher, everyone will keep, I know Java, I know C language, I know Java, or from whatever topics you learn from engineering. If you can add them in your resume, it will be definitely an added weight for you, right? You'll have an edge over others. It will add weightage to your resume. And challenges, coming to the challenges, as a DevOps person, you will be picked up to the roles. There were so many roles now for freshers also, right? You can work in the product. The challenge freshers have is because they haven't worked on this traditional approach, it might be taking some time for them to understand this new approach. But if you can overcome that challenge and understand like where this DevOps comes in and you have a minimum basic knowledge also, that would be very much helpful for you. For freshers, I would say this would be an added advantage, not a challenge. Only the challenges, yeah, whenever people are looking for this, if you have this knowledge, if they have certain role as a junior DevOps, you might be picked up. But if they are looking for an experienced role, you will not be eligible for that. So what's the difference between DevOps engineer and DevOps architect? These are the different designations given by different companies, Rahul. DevOps architect, DevOps person will be doing the same thing as architect does, or architect role might be about designing how the pipeline. We are working on the CI/CD, right? Initially, it should be designed. So if you are working at that scratch level of designing your pipeline, you may be called as a DevOps architect. Even the people who work with that will also be given the same designation as DevOps engineer. So there is no strict difference between them. And a question from Sushant. From your experience, how is the future of DevOps as a career path and how much DevOps role will sustain in the future in industry? Sushant, as per my knowledge, as per my experience and expertise, I would say DevOps will sustain in the market for the next couple of decades as well. Please keep muted, everyone. Keep muted. Right, so that would rule the industry. If you can see this recession time also, DevOps roles are like, you can see people getting jobs in DevOps, but not with other technologies. That itself makes these things clear. Even in India and abroad also, it was good. Salary. Okay, Pradeep is asking me to talk about the salary when switching from other roles like QA and Dev. See, definitely the salary hike would be high, Pradeep. Of course, this is really the motivating part for everyone. Yeah. So the DevOps role, if you can show your expertise, a good expertise, DevOps role is having huge package, like huge hikes as well. If you switch from developer to DevOps, definitely the hike is huge. If you can consider up to 30 to 50% hike as well. Again, upon your expertise, how much skilled you are, how much expertise you are showing, all of this counts. But definitely, I would say hike is good. The growth is good. The packages are good when you compare with other roles.
So if I'm learning DevOps.
One second, Pradeep. There's a question from Pratyusha. Can you take any scenario in real time to explain this? Yes, Pratyusha, definitely all the scenarios, every topic will be covered with the real use cases. When we start the actual topics, that's how we'll proceed, right? We'll build up this pipeline wherein all the scenarios will be covered, which will help you. And there is a question from Kiran. I'm working as an animation industry background, may also able to learn DevOps. Definitely, Kiran, this suits you perfectly. Does Helm charts and Ingress will be covered in Kubernetes? Yes, Surya, all of that are covered. Yes, Pradeep, can you please go ahead with your question? Sorry for interrupting.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. So I'm currently working in QA background, and if I'm planning to learn this DevOps, right? So I will be considered as a fresher, and how come how come I can able to switch with a good amount of hike in DevOps? So can you please clarify on that?
You will
Can
not
you
be
please help
claiming
me?
as a, yeah, sure, Pradeep. You will not be claiming as a fresher. You will be claiming as a DevOps experience with your testing role. right? You have worked in your test project, right? You will be claiming that you have worked in the DevOps methodology, wherein you have automated your test case in the DevOps pipeline. That's how you will relate your experience, previous experience into DevOps. So you will not be considered as a fresher. You will be considered with, okay, you have experience with the CI/CD pipeline, you have executed your test case with Jenkins, you have containerize your test case execution. This is how you will claim. You'll add this in your resume. Whatever, like I told you, whatever you have done manually, those things you will claim in your resume with automation by adding those automation tools. How you will do that and all with this course, you will understand that. Also, we can help you personally to explain with relevant to your resume.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
That's how.
Also, please speak about the salary, average salary package of a DevOps engineer, for example, for 10 plus or something like that.
Pradeep, I can't give you the exact number. It depends on the companies. It depends on expertise you say. But I can tell you the percentage of hike. You can eval 30 to 50% of hike, or more than that is also possible. I have seen my students getting multiple offers when the market is good. Even in this region also, I have my students who got the jobs with a 30% to 50% hike. So that's a percentage of hike you can gain. It depends on your experience, the company, the expertise you have shown. So it varies from candidate to candidate, but in general, that's a percentage of hike one could see. And Srihar says, are you going to explain regarding day-to-day activities we have to perform when we join any company? Yes, Srihar, those queries will be answered. Once you go through this course, day-to-day activities, roles and responsibilities, we'll also discuss them in detail as we progress. Once we start the scenarios and the pipelines, we discuss those things as well. Right? This is the pipeline we'll be building into. Yeah, I'll be walking you through the course content. Just give me a few minutes. I have around 5 to 6 years of network experience. How can I relate with the DevOps? With particular DevOps tools can be used in network engineer. The same project you will implement, or you will relate with the CI/CD pipelines or some tools, Anand. You can share me your resume. I'll go through that and I can help you how you can relate it with the experience into DevOps, right? Please share your resume so that I can talk with respect to your use case. But yes, we can do that. Certification. Another question is from Sushant. Ma'am, is certification mandatory for getting jobs fast in DevOps? Certification is not mandatory, Sushant. I would say go for certification only when you gain expertise on the subject. When you gain expertise, when you do some hands-on, then only claim certification. The reason is, okay, you claim that you do the certification and place it in the resume. Definitely, there'll be high expectations. Okay, when you have high expectations, if you can't meet those expectations, it would be not a gain for you. So gain some expertise, then put the certification. Without certification, claiming your expertise is good. First, claim your expertise, start working on the project, start working on the tools, then it's good to go for certification. Okay, and it's not mandatory. Right. And so, yeah, this is the course content. I'll walk you through the course content. This is about the agenda of today. And yes, this training will cover end-to-end CI/CD pipeline design from the scratch on multiple applications. Real-time scenarios will be covered, right? So that you could see them, you could relate to them in your project when you start working on it. And yes, DevOps interviews and challenges, you can handle it more clearly with this training. Being said that, let me walk you through the course content. You can go through this website where you have the course content. DevOps certifications are not available, Pradeep. You have to go for certification on individual tools. That's what you should do rather than going for DevOps certification. There are DevOps certification provided by AWS, but that's not the preferable as such. First, go with certification on individual tools like Terraform certification, Kubernetes certification. That's how you should go. Okay, or Ansible and so on. Okay, coming to this, here is the course content. I'm sorry. Here it is. Okay, the first one. Yeah. This is the course content we'll be going through. You can go through it. Some changes with respect to the actual trends, like Argo CD was included, right? And we have included certain other scenarios. That's how the course content is modified, but more or less this would be. Cloud formation will not be covered. Okay, this is another change. This part, this 18th part will not be covered because we are covering Terraform, a similar tool in depth, which is more widely used. And in Kubernetes, Argo CD is included. Some additions were there in this part. Argo CD was included. Argo CD, CI/CD pipeline with Argo CD was included. Like a GitOps strategies were included. Okay, and so that's how changes were there. But yeah, we'll add those changes as well. Small changes were there into the course. As per the trend, we have added new scenarios. All of that will be covered. And this is the course content. Some of you are talking about Kubernetes, particularly when you talk about Kubernetes. I'm covering EKS as well. Here is another part. EKS, Elastic Kubernetes Service, a managed service on AWS. This is the real way of execution. Means out of Kubernetes use, 50% are the EKS clusters. So you can imagine how huge it is. That's a paid and managed service. Even I'm covering that. So definitely you'll get a real exposure for Kubernetes. And particularly that's where I'm having expertise into. So you will definitely see the real exposure and the scenarios which can help you claim experience or expertise in Kubernetes.
Hi, Preeti. This course timing will be the same, 6 to 7:30 on morning only.
Yes, it will be 6 to 7:30 every day from tomorrow course begins, and it will be from Monday to Friday. Okay. And also after every topic, right, you have the, if you get like once you are enrolled into the course, you will get access to this LMS, okay, Learning Management System, where you have the quiz portal. Like on every topic, every day, let's suppose tomorrow we are starting with Git. You will have the quiz which you need to take up on daily basis. So that will help you to register, right? After every topic, it will help you register the concepts. Also, the interview questions, topic wise. Yeah. Interview questions again, again for every topic you have these are interview questions designed from the real interviews. So again, beginner level, intermediate level, scenario based, everything were there, which will help you to master each tool. Hands-on is important. Dedication, your hands-on, your time, your effort, your dedication are the things we need here. So if you can put those, definitely this course will help you.
Pretty one more. If someday, like in between these 2 months of course, like if someday we are missing the classes, can we have the recorded session?
Of course, everyday class recordings will be there. Okay, those will be posted in the YouTube as a private videos where all the enrolled students will have access to.
And how much time it that access will be there?
Access will be there for lifetime in YouTube. Yeah, all this access you will have for lifetime. Any more questions? And also we are not done. Just give me few minutes. Just a second. I'm going to share a quiz for today. Of course, the basic quiz or the basic question. But the idea is to check your understanding, and also some questions will be there which are given with the idea that you can explore an answer. Okay, some of the questions are there which are not covered also. That's for you. I'm sharing this. Hope you all got the quiz. Can you all see the quiz?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, so just go through. Meanwhile, any questions you have, you can help me. Also, once you are enrolled, you will also get access to this drive. Okay, this is the Google Drive where you have the notes, documentation with respect to every tool. Like if you go for Git, the Git hands-on commands, complete hands-on Commands were there here, whatever we do in the class, everything is there for each topic. So this is what you will get access. And you will be moved to a separate WhatsApp group, a separate private WhatsApp group once you are enrolled for discussion, for hands-on queries. If you are stuck up, that's where we'll be coming in to help you. You will be moved to a separate WhatsApp group once you are enrolled. So hands-on is mandatory from the day one, like from tomorrow itself, hands-on begins. So you should get ready, to put your time every day, dedicate some time every day to go through the hands-on. Class recordings will be provided. You can go through and practice them on daily basis. Yes, I could also provide you additional projects at the end. Some of you are asking if you are done with this hands-on. Yes, you can come to me where I can provide you some additional projects as well to do hands-on. Yes, course material will also have lifetime access, Sushant. Do you have any separate assignments other than classwork? Yes, honey, we have. Once you are done with the class assignments, if you can come to us that you are done with all of that, yes, I can share you more. And Surya says why most of the tutors or instructors are teaching AWS or as cloud tool for DevOps, why not Azure? AWS is widely used, Surya, and also not only that, another reason is like if you know AWS, you can work on other cloud environments. And if you want to know more details about the course fee and all, you can connect with Mr. Raj on this number. This is the contact number of Mr. Raj, which is there on the website. You can call him directly or WhatsApp him for more details. Any more queries from anyone? Hope I answered all the queries which I kept on hold, or still any questions left on hold. You could please remind me. Feel free to remind me if any other questions are unanswered. Shashi, what is the question, Shashi? Let me go through the chart again. Some of them might be missed due to the long chart going through. Give me. Okay. Yeah, I got your question. We are currently working. Do we have real-time experience? Do you have real-time experience, or after your core skills you are taking class? I did not guess. Where are you working currently? Is your question where are you working currently? Okay, do you have real-time experience, or after your course skills you are taking the class? A nice question, Jesse. With my course means just by learning, I'm not taking up the course. Okay, you can go through my profile on LinkedIn. I'm there on LinkedIn. Let me share my LinkedIn profile. You can go through the LinkedIn. This is where my experience comes in. I'm sharing the LinkedIn profile. Okay. Any more queries?
So tomorrow classes and the coming classes will be some, I think 4 or 5 classes we can see there. So those are free classes, or after paying only we can continue on that.
Which classes you are talking about?
So tomorrow, from tomorrow, you are saying some classes will starting, and when I logged into, when I registered, I checked like 4 or 5 like dates are there. So whole are for demo classes, or from tomorrow only real classes will start?
Tomorrow onwards, real classes begin, but the first 3 are available for free. Like you can join from tomorrow for free for until those 3 classes. Tomorrow onwards, real classes begin, but I'm providing those first 3 for free so that you could access them.
Understood, yeah.
And then
Okay.
thereon, the videos would be private. Login would be shared with the registered students. From
And the classes will be on Zoom only, is it?
Yes, it will be on Zoom.
Yeah, fine.
And there's a question from Sriharsh. I'm having 4 years experience as non-IT background as a credit fraud analyst. So I should try DevOps as a fresher, or should I put some experience? Sriharsh, you can connect with Mr. Raj on this. Okay, he is good at counseling and looking into those areas. You can just connect with him. He can help you with this part. Yes, but you can claim experience as well. How and all, he can help you with. And I have shared my LinkedIn profile. You can feel free to get in touch with me on LinkedIn as well. So yeah, that's all from my end. Any more questions, feel free to reach out on WhatsApp or through phone call. And thank you all once again for joining your Sunday morning. Thanks for spending your valuable time here. And good day, everyone. See you all. And one more thing, have you all completed the quiz? One last thing we have left with.
Yeah,
Yes.
Preeti, we have completed.
Yeah, well, let me share you the results as well. Yeah. Hope you got the answers as well, right? You can cross check, and any questions, let me know. Similar to this, everyday quiz will be shared. It's already there in the quiz portal. Once you once you enroll, you will get all the access to those quiz portals where you can take the quiz on daily basis as per the topics covered. This is just an intro part and the simple queries. Hope you all can see the answers.
Yes.
Oh, Preeti, one more. Just I forgot to ask. What is the complexity will face in coming times?
What is the complete?
Complexity in learning these tools.
Complexity, you mean the
Yeah.
complexity? The complexity, one of the complexity would be these tools are like huge tools and different tools. Means you might be a developer, Docker is completely new for you. If you are a tester or from different backgrounds, Docker, Kubernetes are different tools, right? And these tools are vast, right? It will be difficult to decide which tool or what topics to learn each tool. That's where this course comes in. If you don't take up the course and if you self-learn, generally when you learn these tools and directly, let's say you are put into some project, then you might be having difficulty on how to learn those tools, which topic to learn, which topic to ignore, right? But this course will help you where it is designed as a proper design of which topics to be covered, which topics are prior, a proper structured design so that it will help you to learn these tools. Otherwise, each tool I can teach for 6 months also. But this course is designed keeping in mind what are needed for the interview, what are needed for your project, what actually are needed will be kept on like at the least importance level, which you don't need, which you never use, right? That's how this course helps overcome those complexities. One is, like I said, different tools, completely new tools. You should put your effort and time, definitely. Your dedication is needed. So those are also challenges. If you are a working professional, you have to be dedicated if you want to make a switch over your career. If you are not, that's another challenge you face. Dedication and effort are very important.
One last thing, Preeti. Sorry. Uh, hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. How is the work-life balance for DevOps engineer based on your experience?
See, if you know these tools, like if you already if you are good with the technology, you will enjoy working in DevOps. Okay, if you know these tools, if you are good with these tools, you will enjoy. Every day you will see a real scenario, real use cases, real implementations, because now projects are migrating. Even though they say DevOps is implemented, it's not in an overnight you can't implement a complete DevOps. Every day there should be some improvisations needed, modifications, all of this needed. So you will enjoy working with it. But let's suppose you are like you are placed into some project without proper skill set, with proper knowledge, you might be facing a challenge there. Coming to the work-life balance, the same is the case. If you are enjoying your work, definitely you will find a balance. And all means you can cope up with it. If you are not, definitely that would be a challenge for you. It again, it depends on the project. Some projects might be there where everything is streamlined. You will have a to only maintain it. You will have an enough balance. You will not have any work pressure kind of, but it will not help you to learn much. So it depends. Definitely, if you are learning work-life balance initially for certain projects, it would be the load would be huge, but that's where you will be learning actually. Certain projects are there where they are streamlined. You don't need to put more effort, more hours. I have worked on all the types of projects. How to get future updates? Is there any channel for DevOps? Future updates on my course, or you're talking about DevOps trends you're talking about? There is no particular channel as such, Sushant, if you're talking about DevOps trends, because DevOps is like you have seen, it's an integration of different tool set. Also, this tool set varies from project to project. So you never know, like you don't have a proper channel or a streamlined place where you see the updates. What is the role for Ansible and DevOps, Terraform in DevOps? You have to create the infrastructure, right, Ramesh? Like infrastructure on AWS or infrastructure on Azure or your infrastructure on any cloud. How do you create it? That's where in Terraform comes in provisioning, creating the infrastructure. Once infrastructure is created and provisioned, you need to configure it. You need to manage it. That's where Terraform comes in. So a combination is used. We are going to cover those scenarios as well. So yeah, those are included in the pipeline. So this is all about the course, and yeah, you to avail access to all of this drive, the labs and all, you can get enrolled, you get access to all of this so that you can start hands-on from day one itself. Anything else from anyone? All right then.
The actual difference between a DevOps and a DevSecOps.
DevSecOps is more about the security concerns as well, the security best practices, the security norms implemented across. Now, see, it's a DevOps or DevSecOps. Like I say, it's a naming the difference, but in DevOps also, we do follow this security principles and the practices. All right then. Thanks everyone. Good day. See you all tomorrow. Bye everyone.
Thank you, Preeti.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.